It is my privilege and honor to be able to work for the citizens of Iowa. When this bill first came forward, or when this idea first came forward, I got a phone call from a constituent. A young lady, a lifetime Democrat, called me in a panic. She had received 2 letters. These letters came from AFSCME, and they informed her that the Department of Human Services was going to be changing the definitions, which would no longer allow her to take care of her loved one. I was not aware of that. I told her that I would look into it, I would work for her. My feeling is, as senators up here, we come up here and we spend a lot of time working on bills, but that's not our primary job. Our primary job is making sure that when the citizens of Iowa, our constituents, come to us with a problem, we help them solve that problem. The way we help solve problems sometimes is behind the scenes. Maybe it's just giving information about referring them to an ombudsman or another branch of government or to their federal agencies. But in this case, I said, I have not seen those letters. I said, can I get a copy of those letters so I can do some research and work for you? She said, absolutely. I informed her that this bill, or the problem she was running into, was from a bill last year. The implementation of the Affordable Care Act in the state of Iowa included a provision which changed the way these services were provided. I informed her that 2 members of the committee, Senator Smith and myself, both voted against that bill, not necessarily for the reasons of this, but that we worked diligently with our colleagues to try to get it fixed. She was very appreciative of the work I had done, the time I'd spent on the phone with her. That was one of probably 100 phone calls I received on this issue. Senator Courtney, would you yield, please?
Senator Courtney, would you yield?
Yes, sir. Senator Courtney, the young lady from Ottumwa, Iowa, one of my constituents, called you next. Do you recall that phone call?
I don't know. I got so many of them, Senator. I'm sure I talked to her and I don't recall it exactly, but please go on. I'm sure I'll.
Thank you. That'd be fine. You can sit down now. I was just wondering if you recall that specific phone call.
I got about 100 of them too.
Well, I'll tell you what happened next. I got a phone call from the same young lady calling me back. And she said that she went down the list because the AFSCME letter had the names and phone numbers of each of the senators and representatives on the Rules Review Committee. And she told me how disappointed she was. She had called Senator Courtney, explained the problem to Senator Courtney, and explained to him that she was working with me to try to solve this problem. And she said the response she got was, if AFSCME had wanted Senator Chelgren to have a copy of that letter, they would have given one to him. Don't give it to him. Earlier, Senator Courtney stood up and said, why do we have differences between Republicans and Democrats? Why are we not doing things socially? When you put your own personal political interests or the political interests of your party above the citizens of this country or the citizens of the state, it's wrong. It's not why we're here. So I am asking that we work together. I am asking that behavior like that does not happen again. And Senator Courtney, if you don't recall the conversation, I ask that you look at yourself and ask, if something like this comes up, please don't let that happen again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a good bill. We work together in a bipartisan manner, both in this chamber and across the aisle. I ask for your support of this bill. Thank you for your time.
The chair now recognizes the senator from Des Moines, Senator Courtney.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Chelgren, since you decided to make this personal, let me tell you the rest of the conversation. Of those 100 to 150 phone calls I got, a large percentage of them said, who's this Chelgren? He'll never answer his phone. A large percentage of them said, Senator Chelgren acted like he didn't really care about this, that they were trying to save money. Now, I will just say that I will just... You started this, pal. You started.
I told it with no
You're
doing the right. It's a difference.
Point of order.
Point of order. Please come up to the bench.